Baby, you're a stitch man. Baby, you're a stitch man. Baby, you're a stitch man. Duh. Woo-hoo-hoo.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Flosstubin' Christmas. Hey, remember the beginning of summer when I got all dressed up as Santa Claus and made a Christmas video and you were all like, why are you dressed as Santa and talking about Christmas? It's not Christmas. Christmas is so far away. We want to think about our summer vacation and going to the beach and all this stuff. And I was like, you can't think about that stuff because Christmas is almost here. Doesn't it seem like that just happened? Doesn't it seem like I just did that? That was 6 months ago. And look, now Christmas is actually here. I know what I'm talking about. Stitchman Claus knows what he's talking about. So it's been a while since I sat here, not here, but here in this house making a video, a Flosstube. I think it was my 40th birthday the last time I made one. I'm well into my 40s right now. It's going as awful as I would have imagined. Everything hurts all the time, but whatever. This is my life now. Life in your 40s. There's aches and there's pains and there's grumpiness and there's complaining. That's just what it is, right? Another thing that happened within that time frame since the last time I've been here is my 2-year Flosstube anniversary has come and gone. I've been here for over 2 years now. Doesn't that seem like something? Does it? Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. I don't know if you remember or not my 1-year Flosstube anniversary video, which was a whole extravaganza with like special guests and special videos, and it was a whole thing, and it took me like a month to put together, and it was all, and everybody kept asking me at the time, and even throughout the year, what are you going to do to top that? What are you going to do to top that? I don't know. How can I possibly top that? I got so much like overthinking and pressure that I put on myself to try to top that I ultimately decided to go in the complete opposite direction and not acknowledge it at all. I didn't do anything. I didn't plan anything. I didn't make anything. I didn't even acknowledge it. I let it pass without mention. So that was my strategy this year. And now that that's happened, now that I got that sort of like off my chest and I don't have to follow it up with anything extra spectacular, maybe I will if I'm still here next year. Maybe I'll do something a little bit more fun again. But for this year, let's not even acknowledge it. It's highly likely that this is going to be my last video of 2022. So I do have some like specialness planned out, mostly stitching related instead of all the other like buffoonery that I normally do. There's still going to be buffoonery. I can still act like an idiot while showing you actual stitching things. You know, I know most of you here are for the like because you like stitching and you like to see stitching things, not because you like to see me act like an idiot. Some of you do like to see me act like an idiot. I can do both. I'm going to try to do both today. So I've emptied. This is my year-end cleanse. I've emptied my drawers. I'm just gonna go through everything. You can just sit back and observe, or you can help me get my shit together and organized because I'm feeling a little bit overwhelmed again. I'm gonna show you the WIPs that I actually worked on since my last video. I'm gonna show you what I'm referring to as dead WIPs, that like stuff that I should be working or that I was working on that I haven't worked on in a very long time. Some stuff I just even completely forgot about. I've got way more stuff here than I even knew I had. I'm gonna show you things that I finished this year. I'm emptying the drawers and I'm showing it all and I'm rethinking it all and I'm getting it organized for 2023. Doesn't that sound like fun? Does it? It doesn't really. It kind of sounds like work, but I'm going to try to make it fun. One thing I realized emptying out all of my drawers and shit was how well I've actually done over the last couple of years, because I'm feeling overwhelmed again. I know at the beginning of the year I was like, I don't care, I want all the WIPs, I want to work all the things, I want to overwhelm myself. Well, I did it. I overwhelmed myself. I'm looking at all the stuff all laid out over all of my furniture right now, and it's causing a little bit of anxiety. It's too much stuff. But I've also I've actually legitimately finished a lot of things over this year, and if I include last year, even more. I'm used to, up until I started floss tubing, I'd be lucky if I finished one thing a year. One thing a year would be a good pace. Many years, it took me 2 or 3 years just to finish one thing. Over the last 2 years, I think I have legitimately actually finished 10 things. 10 things in 2 years. That's a lot of things. That's a lot of things. And they're not tiny little things either. They're pretty significant things. That's pretty good. As much as I'm overwhelmed with maybe too many WIPs and maybe I'm spreading myself a little thin and working on too many things, I did legitimately finish 10 things. That's good, right? Right? Can I get a round of applause, some praise or something? Anybody? Anybody? All right, so let's get to it. Pour yourself a gigantic glass of rum with a little splash of eggnog on top of it and settle in because it's feeling like a lot and this might take a while. I've said that before. I say that sometimes and it still ends up only being like 30 minutes, which maybe this one will be too. But just looking around the room right now, and if I like even have a little bit to say about each thing, you might want to spread it out over a couple of nights or get drunk or something. I don't know how we're gonna get through this. I don't even know how I'm gonna get through it. I'm stalling even with my words right now because it just seems like too much to dive into. But let's dive in. Let's dive in and get started. What the hell? First, a couple of quick things before you even do that. See, look, more stalling. I'm still stalling. Stitching related though. I want to say a quick hello to a couple of my Stitchy friends who you may know, maybe you don't, and maybe you want to know them. They're very nice people. One, as if I haven't talked about her enough over the last 2 years. Remember my friend Claire, my very first Stitchy friend who I talk about all the time and who you're probably like, even though I haven't talked about lately, you're probably sick of, oh, here we go with the Claire again. Yes, here we go with the Claire again, because Claire has been away for about a year now, just like off Instagram and off Flosstube and just taking a break from stuff. And then all of a sudden, last month, there she was again. She showed up. She made a new video. It was very exciting. I hope it wasn't just a one-off thing. I hope that she's back. And it was very exciting to see her. And I'm glad she's back. And I think that you should be glad that she's back too. And that's why I'm talking about her. Look, there she is right there. Look, it's Claire. She's back. After almost a year. I just kicked my table. I almost knocked my camera over. This is going swimmingly well already. Swimmingly! Second, somebody who I have never talked about before, but I'm pretty sure that most or all of you probably already know because he's got 1 million subscribers. He's got even more subscribers than me, which I'm not okay with, by the way. Sorry, that was my internal monologue. You weren't supposed to hear that part. His name is Sean Hollick. He has a channel called Mr. Hollick. He's awesome. He has a very infectious enthusiasm for stitching, which I love. And lately he's been stitching on a lot of Christmas things, which I also love. I love seeing the Christmas things. I love seeing the enthusiasm. I love seeing the slowly growing community of male stitchers. We need more male stitchers. Get your husbands stitching. We need more men. Speaking of male stitchers, this is going to be a little bit of a tangent, and maybe, I don't know if I'm going to say this inappropriately or not. Maybe this will be the end of me. This is my farewell performance because I said something I shouldn't have said. I don't know. But speaking of male stitchers, I've encountered this. I've talked about this before. I've encountered this throughout my life of like, you know, how people react oddly sometimes. Not so much anymore. It's getting a lot better now. But like when you're a straight man who likes cross stitching, people react oddly to that sometimes. Like that's a strange thing. For me, even aside from the fact that it's just an awesome thing that's a lot of fun to do and enjoyable to do, we know all that. We've got that. Stitching is awesome and it's so much fun and everybody should be doing it regardless of who you are or where you are. Everybody in the whole world should be stitching. That's my policy. But even that aside, even as a young person, I never really understood the like why you would think it was such an odd thing to like, I don't know how I'm going to say this like properly, but like if you are somebody who enjoys being around women as I do, why would you think it's such a strange thing to have a hobby or be a part of a community or a group that is comprised of 99% women? Why does that seem like as like the non-manly thing to do? Like I have other things too that are sort of seen as like historically, stereotypically not sort of like the manly, like, I was a baker for a long time. I baked cookies and bread and stuff like that. I still enjoy doing all that stuff. So when there's a gathering or a party or something like that, a big group of people together, and all the manly men are going off and gathering around their barbecue with their beer, and they're all talking about how, like, did you see the football game last night? Who's off surrounded by women, charming them all with talks of like cookie recipes and cross stitching? Oh, Stitchman here. So like, why would you look at that oddly? Like you guys are all over there by yourselves, surrounded by your barbecues and your footballs and stuff. Have fun over there. I'm good right here, guys. Okay, one more thing before I get into all the actual stitching things. I got some really fantastic Stitchy kindness in the mail over the last few weeks, and I wanted to say a big thank you and show you all the fantastic things I got, because I do love getting me some presents. So let's do that first. Oh, you don't have to send me presents, but I'll give you my address anyway. I like getting presents. First, my friend Dona, who's been very kind to me over the last couple of years, sent me this very cool Halloween chart called Wicked Night, which I love. I love a lot. It's been a while since I stitched on something that I don't have on like a device, like to just have a pattern balanced on my knee. And this looks like a pretty simple, I'm not going to have to convert it or anything. I'm just going to go old school again. I'm just going to have it. I'm going to have it on my lap. I'm going to stitch it for Halloween next year. Hopefully, if I can squeeze it in. I really want to, because I love it, and it doesn't look like it'll take that long. She also sent this awesome orange linen to go along with it, which it's gorgeous. I'm really excited to try to stitch on this. I've never stitched on anything like this before. It looks like a lot of fun. Thank you very much. I am going to try really hard to squeeze this in next year and have this ready for the Halloween season, or maybe stitch it during the Halloween season, because I like it a lot. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. And one other thing from a stitchy friend named Barbara. Look what she made me. Look at this. A Chessie project bag. Isn't that amazing? We're all mad here. It's got a little cat thing to pull the zipper. It's Chessie. It's pretty much the same kind, like basically the same picture as the Chessie that I'm stitching, and it's big enough to hold him. I love it. I was floored when whenever people are like, like they make me stuff and they send me stuff, like they put it like the thought and the effort that goes into stuff like this. Like, I'm appreciative of any gift, but when you're actually like, I know the time and effort that it takes to make things, and like it's extra touching that people do stuff like that for me. Brings a tear to a glass eye, as one of my friends likes to say. And it also came with this awesome little needle minder. I've got quite a collection of needle minders now, which I love. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's kind of, can you see that? Is it blurry? Can you see it? I love it. I love the needle minder. I love the bag. I love the Chessie. I love the everything. I love everyone and everything. And you don't have to send me presents, but you can have my address anyway. All right, here we go. Main event. Should we just dive in and see what all the fuss is about? All the things that I've got. I've got things by my feet. I've got things on a coffee table. I've got things all over my couch. Let's see what some of these things are. First, we're going to start with the WIPs that I actually worked on since my last video. So let's do that first. First up, let's take a look at the Jacob 2022 Stitch Along. I don't know what it looked like last time I showed it. I kind of don't feel like digging through my old videos to find when even the last time I showed it was, let alone what it looked like. Who cares what it looked like last time? Do you care? I don't care. Let's just see what it looks like this time. It's got its own theme song. We'll hear the song. We'll see the thing. We'll move on with our lives. Jody, Trixie Tricycle, take it away if you would.
Two of us stitching Jacob's 2022 Stitch Along, taking turns with the stitching, stitcher switching, who is worse? mystery cell, designed by our pal. It's a duet.
So after making such a stink at the beginning of the year that I am going to make the biggest effort to stay with this Sal for the year, I'm going to stitch it month by month, and by the end of the year I'm going to be finishing along with everybody else. Here we are at the end of the year. Most of you have already finished it, and I am here. Good job, Stitch Man! This is not an indication that this is a low priority or that I don't love it. I do love it. I don't know how the year slipped away from me. I did finish January in January. Melissa and I are working on this together even. I didn't even have to do all of it. We finished January in January, and this is February. Not even finished yet. Who knows if it'll even be finished, a year late. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. I failed. So I know Jacob has already released his next year, his 2023 Stitch Along, which of course is gorgeous and yes, do I want to be working on that too? Yes, I do. But hold on a minute. We're not doing that. I have decided, for now anyway, until like maybe someday when I'm caught up again, that because I do want to finish this, and I don't want to. I'm gonna pretend that Jacob Sal's are a year later than they actually are. So I'm going to try to finish this 2022 Sal in 2023 instead. And if I want to do the 2023 one, I'll do it in 2024. And so on, and so on, and so on.
And so on, and so on, and so on.
Seeing all the pictures that you've all been posting of this finished does make me want to pick it back up. And, it goes pretty quickly when I am working on it. It's not, evidence would suggest otherwise. But like the time that it actually took to do this was not that significant. I just haven't worked on it very much all year long. So I don't know what, I don't know why, and I don't know what else to say about that, but I am going to try to do it in 2023, or it, maybe I just have to admit to myself that I don't enjoy it as much as I seem to think I do. I love looking at it. I think it's gorgeous. I think it would look gorgeous on the wall. But maybe the reason that I'm not making time for it is because other things are more important. And I don't know. What is this? Psychology 101? I don't know. I don't know why I do the things I do. Next up, as long as we're talking about Jacob things, let's look at another Jacob thing. I started a new Jacob thing. If you may or may not remember, you may or may not remember that I started a Jacob project for Black Sampler November. Let's take a look and see what it looked like the last time I showed it. Oh, look, here it is right here. I hadn't started it yet. I feel like I've made that joke before. The project is called, here it is right here. It's called All Are Equal in Death. I'm stitching it in black. And hold on to your hats. Let's take a look and see how much progress I made in Black Sampler November. I need to like cut to something or something. I got to pick it up off the floor.
Motherfucker, fuck the fucking world, and my new band is called Skill.
So here's what I did, and here's what it looks like. This is page 1 complete, and I love it. I love it. I love the way it's turning out. I love the chart. I love everything about it. It's been fun to stitch. It's not too complicated, not too difficult. It's a nice, like, easy one to pick up and just chill out and stitch your skeleton coffin, stitch your vines. It was a lot of fun. But this is the progress that I made within November, and then I stopped. And I have made a very, very tough decision, which I'm going to tell you about as soon as I get up and grab myself a beer. That's better. So I've decided, as much as I love this and as much as I love working on it, no, I'm not abandoning it. But considering, like, I haven't fully decided how I want to reevaluate all of my WIPs and all of my stitching and my whole life going forward or whatever, but there are things that I haven't been working on that I definitely do want to be working on, and new things I haven't even started yet that I want to be working on. I'm just not going to be able to do everything that I want to do. It's not possible. So I've decided that this is going to be my dedicated Black Sampler November project until it's finished. So I'm not going to pick this back up again until November of 2023. Maybe I'll finish it in November 2023. Maybe it'll take me, it's 4 pages long. Maybe it'll take me 4 Novembers to finish it. I don't know. But as of right now, that's how I'm feeling. I'm just gonna save this for Black Sampler November and only Black Sampler November until it's finished. So take a good look at it, because I'm rolling it up and I'm putting it in a drawer, and we're not going to see it again until I am 41 years old. 41! Next up, the Nevermore stitch along that I'm stitching along with Mary, Daydream Stitcher, and others. Let's take a look and see what Nevermore looked like the last time I showed it.
And the raven, ever flitting, still is sitting on the pallid bust of Pallas just above my chamber door, and his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamplight o'er him streaming throws his shadow on the floor, and my soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore.
And here's what Nevermore looks like today. I actually don't remember what it looked like last time. I haven't looked, but I feel like this is significantly more than the last time I showed it. I hope it is. I'm pretty sure it is. It could be even significantly more than this. This is actually going pretty quickly, but I haven't worked on it at all, probably in about a month. You'll see why in a couple of stitchings from now, why this one kind of got like shelved a little bit. But I don't know how to hold this. As I'm working on it, it looks intricate and it looks complicated just to glance at it, but it is, but it's not difficult. It goes quickly. I've been finding that it goes quickly, and it's a lot of fun. This is a lot of fun to do. This is another one that's like, it's not getting shelved. This is when I reevaluate what is what are my priorities that I think I can actually get to. This is one of them, because it's not, it looks like there's a lot left, and it looks like, it's going to take away. It's not. I can get this done relatively quickly, relatively easily, I think. And it's a lot of fun to do. That's going to be my main criteria for the next, like, what am I going to do in the next year? Is it fun to do, or is it not fun to do? Because if it's not fun to do, then why am I doing it? Why would you do something that is not fun? It doesn't make any sense. Next up, our old friend, greatest movie star of all time, Jamesington Jimmyus Stewardess. Let's take a look and see what Jimmy Stewart looked like last time.
And I'm gonna stay right here and fight for this lost cause, even if this room gets filled with lies like these. And the tailors and all their armies come marching into this place. Somebody will listen to me.
And here's what Jimmy Stewart looks like as we sit here by the Christmas tree. Jimmy Stewart. Doesn't it look just like him? You know it does. I'm actually not 100% sure that I even worked on this at all in the past month. Did I? What did it look like last time? You think with 6 weeks to prepare, you think I would have been like a little bit prepared to at least know what I did and didn't work on? Nah, just wing it. I'm pretty sure I hadn't done this the last time I showed you this part right here, because I think I was trying to get all the way to the end, and look, at least I did another row. I can show another row. I think. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Either way, whatever. It's Jimmy Stewart. Who would ever complain about staring at the top of Jimmy Stewart's head? I know I would never complain about that.
That's right. That's right.
This is one of those ones that's going to be like within the rotation always, but not like top high priority. I do really, really want to see his face, and this is his face right here, in case you didn't know that. That's his face. We're going to get all the way down to like nose line and have both eyes just on this page. So even if I just finish this page in the upcoming year, I mean, I don't know that I'd be happy with just doing that, but I'll be happy that I can see his eyes and his face. So I'm there's never going to be a time where I'm planning anyway. I don't want to say never, but to not be working on this. I'm always going to be working on it. But that first page, I don't know if you remember, I did that first page like within a couple of weeks. It was just boom. Like I can, if I'm focused on one thing and really hyper focused on it and excited about it, I can do it very quickly. I just don't know, knowing what I'm looking at spread around the room right now, how much time I'm going to have to dedicate to any one thing over the year. But this is one thing that I want to commit to, at least seeing his eyeballs this year. If more than that, great. Because I actually do, even though it's black and white and it's like it's not super like fun and colorful looking, it actually is. I have a lot of fun stitching this while I'm working on it. But then when I get, you know, I put it down and I move on to other things, it gets like, it's hard to, you know, it's just, you know, I don't have to explain to you. You all know we've got more projects than we could ever possibly work on in our lifetime. And which ones do we actually like want to actually be working on right now? All of them! All of them! Last but not least, the final thing I worked on since my last video, our old friend Chessie the cat. Let's take a look and see what Chessie looks like last time.
This is what Chessie looked like last time you saw it.
Darcy probably regrets asking me to do this.
And here's what Chessie looks like now. I don't quite remember exactly where I was last time, but it feels like I made a very significant amount of progress on this because for the last several weeks, this is the only thing I've been working on. I'm really trying to push hard to finish this page by the end of the year. I know it's already December, what is it, 15th or 16th or 20th? I don't know. I don't fucking know what day it is. I don't know, but I have this much left. This little bit, I've been jumping all over the place to make it seem like not so boring. This little bit left, and then this page will be done. I feel like it's possible to finish that by the end of this year, and at least I'll have one more Chessie page finished by the end of the year. Not that that really matters. Who really cares about that? Melissa and I talked about this. Like, you know, I go through Chessie phases of like, I really want to be working on Chessie and I'm genuinely enjoying working on Chessie. But when I'm doing it too much, I do burn out on Chessie and want to be doing other things. But I still have that sort of pressure on myself to, I feel a certain obligation to be working on this because I want to give it to my son Dylan as a birthday or Christmas present, you know, whenever it's done. And I've said this before, that I want to finish it within a reasonable amount of time, that he's not so old that he doesn't care about it. It's not cool anymore. You know, who cares about a thing from dad like this or whatever, you know, he's already 4 years. He's 4 years old now. When I started this, he was not quite 2 years old and now he's 4 years old and I'm not even half finished. But at the same time, Melissa reminded me, which I needed reminding of, that you know what? He's your son. He's your son, and there's never going to be a time in his life, no matter what stage he's in or what age he is, there will not be a time where he doesn't like stuff like this. He's always going to like stuff like this. So I don't really have to put that much pressure on myself. Like I have to finish it by the time he's 5 or 6. Otherwise, I've wasted all my time, or like it's not going to be a significant thing anymore until he gets older and looks back on it. That's really not true. As much as he might be too cool for dad at some point, I feel like if he's anything like me, and believe me, he's a lot like me, that there's, even when he's a too cool for school teenager, he's still going to like stuff like this and he's still going to appreciate, maybe even appreciate it even more. You know, if I try to hurry up and finish this by the time he's 5, as much as he'll like it, yeah, he likes cats and this is, you know, he's going to like it. He might appreciate it more if I give it to him when he's a little bit older and he has learned how to stitch at that point and knows how much work went into it. Maybe he would even appreciate it more. I don't know. But, you know, I did get snapped out of a little bit that like, I don't necessarily need to put that amount of pressure on myself to finish it that quickly. Even though I do still put that amount of pressure on myself to finish it that quickly. Like even this, I'm kind of over it for the moment. I want to be working on other things, but I'm tasting a face, a page finish at this point. It's close enough that it's like, it's within my grasp, and page finishes are exciting, especially a Chessie page finish. I can take him out. I can look at him again. I've got his smile. I've got his paw there. You know, I might be a little bit burned out on it at the moment, but like, how can I take a break after the page is finished? How can I stop now when I'm this close to a page finish? I can't. I just can't do it. So anyway, that's sort of my story of Chessie. When I started this, I gave myself a 3-year window to like, I want to finish this by the time Dylan's 5. That's next year. I have 8 more pages to go. This is page 7. I have 8 more. I don't think it's going to happen, but having talked to Melissa and having been reminded that he is son of Darcy, I don't think that it's necessarily all that important to finish it by next year. I'll finish it whenever I finish it. I'll give it to him whenever I give it to him. And in the meantime, I'm going to do what I like doing, and I'm going to enjoy myself, right? Wasn't this the mantra of the beginning of the year when Chris It Up started? Chris It Up, motherfuckers! Okay, so that's it for the WIPs that I actually worked on since my last video. Now, let's do something fun and take a look at some of the dead WIPs. Dead WIPs. First, we've got this guy who you might remember. It's been haunting and taunting me for the past probably 7 years. This is called Moonstone. I am this far into it, and it's just never gonna be done. No, that's not true. I don't know. This is like, not to repeat stories that I've told before, even though that's exactly what I'm about to do. I started this, I think in 2015, maybe 2016, as a Christmas present for my mother. I got this far into it, like down to about here. And then for some reason decided, nah, I don't think that's the one for her. I don't think she's going to like it. So I shelved it. I worked on something else, and I never went back to it until I started floss tubing, and I went back to it a little bit, and I've added this in the last 2 years. Fantastic progress. This is one of those ones that I have like kind of a strange relationship with, because it's not as fun to actually work on when I'm going to sit down and stitch for the evening and do something fun that I'm enjoying. This is not the one. But it is one of the ones that the picture itself of the moon and the whole, like, as it's finishing and finished, I love. It's one of my favorites. So I don't love working on it as much as some of the others, but I do love it more than some of the others. So what's a stitch man to do? I don't know. What am I supposed to do? It seems silly to just abandon it and never finish it. This is more than halfway through. More than half. It's not like it's just like, I did a little bit, maybe I should keep going. It's kind of significant what's left, but it's not a whole lot in the grand scheme of things. I don't know, man. What do I do? I do want to, like, I'm not going to make any bold predictions about what I may do with this in the upcoming year. But I'd love to make at least a little bit of progress on it, pick away at it here and there, hold it up at this point next year and see that something noticeable has been added to it. Eventually, someday it'll be done if I can do that, right? That doesn't seem so unreasonable. I think I can at least do that. Speaking of dead, this one is just deader than dead. I emptied out my drawers and I completely forgot that I even had this or was working on it. Does anybody happen to remember me talking about this or starting this? Sorry, that's a shadow of my microphone right there. Whatever, who cares? This is mini Alice Descending. It's as small as a heaven and earth can ever possibly get. So I figured, like, I like it and it should be easy. It should be quick. I started it even in tent stitch. Forget this. Here's what it looks like. I started tent stitching it so it would go even faster. And I forgot. I guess I just forgot about it. I just forgot I had it. I don't know. I do like it, and I like I've always liked. This is one of the first Heaven and Earths I ever bought was Alice Descending. When I first discovered Heaven and Earth, I've had this for a very long time. I've been wanting to do it and work on it. I don't know. Maybe I just have to be like a little bit honest with myself. If I can't even remember that I have it, maybe it's not as important to me as I think it is. So I don't know. We'll see if and how I can fit this in the upcoming year. I'm kind of like have in the back of my mind. Maybe you need to remind me this of the at the end of the year if you're like clicking into like, hey, you should send that to me or whatever. That if it still looks like this at the end of next year, if I haven't touched it at all, then perhaps somebody else might want to adopt it from me, and at least it would go to somebody who wants to be working on it and will finish it, rather than sitting in a drawer forever saying, I'm going to get to that someday, and then never getting to it. I don't know. If it still looks like this at this point next year and somebody wants it, perhaps I'll give it to you. How about that? Next up in the pile of death, how about this? Mini Sunflower Cottage Stitch Along. Remember this? This is a stitch along that Emma from Emma X Stitching and I started together almost 2 full years ago now. 2 years ago. So within those 2 years, you would think that I probably could have made some very significant progress on that, right? Let's take a look. Page 1. Page 1 is finished. Page 2 is not even started yet. So, with it, hang on. Oh my goodness, that was uncalled for. So in the past 2 years, I have managed to finish page 1 of 9. So at that pace, it should only take me a mere 16 more years to finish this thing. That's not so unreasonable, right? I'll only be what? I'll be 56 years old. Betsy will be 77 years old. We'll still be floss tubing. We'll still be pooping. We'll still be making fart jokes and doing all the things, right? We'll still be here in 16 years when this is finished, right? No, I would love to go a little bit faster than that because believe it or not, this is another one that you might like. Evidence would suggest that it's not that important to me or it's not as fun as some of the other ones. It is the most fun when I'm actually talking about like I love color and vibrant color. I love the picture. I love everything about this. And it is probably, if I were to choose actual sit down and stitch and have fun, what's the most fun? This is the most fun. So why is it 1 page in 2 years? I don't know. Again, this is not a psychology class. I don't know why I do the things that I do. But here it is, 1 page in 2 years. I hope that I can get back to this and get a little bit more into it. But this is another part of the, I might need help. I might need help with somebody like an organizational expert or something, because like I said, what do I want to actually be working on? Let's prioritize it. Everything is a top priority for me. Everything. I wouldn't have started working on these things if I didn't want to be working on them. I do want to be working on all of them. So what do I do? How do I do that? I don't know. That's why I get so overwhelmed. That's why I'm so jittery right now, because I've got them all laid out in front of me and it's making me very anxious. Here's another one that I actually kind of foolishly forgot about, which seems ridiculous. I forgot about this. This has been like, on my mind for 10 or 12 years now. And I finally started it. Advice from a Caterpillar. And then I haven't worked on it in at least probably a couple of months because I kind of just forgot. I don't store it in the same place that I keep the rest of my stitchings. I know that sounds stupid and that's not really an excuse, but like it's never like right in front of my face and I kind of just forgot about it. It's so stupid. Anyway, let's see what it looks like. This is how much of it I've done so far. This is a 28 count even weave stitched 1 over 1. Tiny little stitches, tiny little threads, tiny little everything. This is a full size heaven and earth. This is the full way across the page. So it's still going to be like, because it's so big and it's so many pages, it's still going to be impressive, but it's not going to be like gigantic. When I do something like usually on 18 counts, it's not going to be that big. Still going to be awesome though. And I do love it. And I feel stupid for like forgetting about it. I don't mind, like, this isn't going to be like such a top priority that I need to finish this in the next year or two. Like, this is going to take a long, long time. I'm going to be working on this. This is almost like half considering this my life project. Like, this is going to be one that's always sort of with me to pick away at over the years. But pick away at it means actually work on it, not forget about it. I feel ridiculous I just forgot about it. I would have worked on this more. I would have at least a little bit more than this. I just forgot about it. Whoops. One last WIP in the pile of dead WIPs. Now, if one is to get revived in the near future, I feel like it's probably going to be this one. This one is called Alice in a Dali Dream. We've got Alice, we've got Salvador Dali, we've got all the things that I love. Let's see what it looks like. This is the progress that I have thus far made on Alice in a Dali Dream. Pretty good, but also not pretty good considering that this has also been almost 2 years since I started this. This was right around the time that I started floss tubing. I'd only made 2 or 3 videos, and I was just getting into the like bad influence that you all have of not being a monogamous stitcher anymore and having multiple whips. The first one that I started that like now I'm a multiple whipper was Chessie, and then after Chessie I started this right around the same time. And this is how far I've got. I haven't worked on this in a very, very long time. And that makes me very sad because I love it. I love this a lot. So I do feel like this is one that I can make a bold declaration about. Somehow, some way, in the near future, possibly even like as soon as I finish this video, This one needs to make its way back into the rotation somehow. If something needs to get sacrificed in order for that to happen, so be it. Sorry, Jacob 2022 Sal. Something is going to have to make room for this, because I can't have this one just sitting in a drawer not being worked on. I love working on it. First of all, it's a lot of fun, and I love it. I love the way it's coming together, and I love it. It's one of my favorites, and I don't understand why I've let it get to this point of like, I can't even remember the last time I worked on it. I feel like it's been close to a year though. That's not okay. That is not okay with me. So as part of the reevaluation of the WIPs and what's important and how much time gets dedicated to each thing, this one is making its way back in. Mark my words. If everything else said, like, I wish I was working on that, I wish I was working on that, if that doesn't happen, but this does happen, that's okay. I can prioritize. I can say, as much as I want to be working on everything, I don't necessarily want to be working on everything equally, because I want to be working on this more than the other things. And I am, mark my words, going to do that. The end. I am exhausted. Have we had enough? Is it enough already? I've got a little pile in front of me here of finishes that I finished in 2022, and I was going to go through them again, like as a year-end review, you know, stuff that I finished. Do we need to do that? Or is it enough already? Are we burned out? Have we had enough? Maybe I'll just do it quickly. Interestingly, I didn't really clue into this until I just put them on the table in front of me. But I've got 5 things in front of me that I finished this year. And of those 5 things, there are only 2 different designers. The 2 greatest designers in the entire Stitch world. 2 of them are Jacob's, and 3 of them are my own. Let's do it. Let's take a look. Let's see the Jacob ones first. Finishes. Okay, first up, this was my first finish of the year, because it was supposed to actually be finished for last Christmas, and I was going to give it to Stitch Lady Melissa as a Christmas present, but I didn't quite finish it in time, so I had to finish it in January. This is a Jacob chart called A Winter Border Sampler. Isn't that gorgeous? I know, it's really sad to me that I've still got it, like, just, you know, it's not up or anything for Christmas. Like, I might at least frame it myself, or like, you know, mount it on a board. You know, I can do stuff myself. It doesn't have to be, I could at least have it leaning against the wall or something, you know, mounted on a board or something. Maybe I'll do that today. I might actually do that today. I am all over the place right now. I am so scattered. So anyway, the Jacob original in the middle here was an alphabet, and I changed it to Nolak. How was that? Maybe I should get Melissa. Do I still have a clip of Melissa saying that?
Nolak.
That means Merry Christmas in Gaelic, and that's what Melissa asked me if I could change it to, which I did, and I got Jacob's approval doing that. Otherwise, I would not have shown it to you, because I don't want to piss Jacob off. Nobody wants to see angry Jacob. I don't know that anyone have ever seen it. None of us want to see it either. Let's not piss Jacob off. Next up, another Jacob finish that I finished relatively early in the year is this one that was super fun to stitch. Spirits of the Dead. The Edgar Allan Poe quote. Remember this? Remember? Doesn't it seem like I was just working on this? I'm pretty sure I finished it in like February or March. It's been a while. This year went by way too fast. Anyway, I love this. I have fond memories of working on it all those years ago. It was not that long ago. But it was fun to do. It came together quickly. Another one that I'm kind of sad that I just have rolled up in a drawer or whatever. But like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. So I have this like in my mind of like, I have to get stuff professionally, expensively framed, because that's what I've done all my life. I don't necessarily have to do that. I have learned a little bit, and I could practice a little bit more doing stuff myself, or finishing things in different ways than just taking them to a frame shop and getting them framed. You all have some very creative ways to finish stuff that, you know, I could learn how to do some of that stuff too. It doesn't have to, it's better than just shoving it away in a drawer, isn't it? Taking it out every now and then. Remember when I finished this? Remember? Because it's getting to be a little bit on the overwhelming side of like, you know, same with like, what am I going to work on? What am I going to frame? What am I going to finish? Usually I only have one thing finished. So it's not that overwhelming to think, what am I going to save up for? Or what am I going to go get framed or finished? Because I only have one thing. Now I've got like 9 or 10 things. I don't even know where to begin. All right, from there, Stitchman himself opened up his own Stitchman shop and started stitching his own Stitchman things. That's me. Me, I did that.
Mr. Stitchman, Stitchman, Darcy, what you stitching on? What you stitching on, my Stitchman? Mr. Stitchman is a designer. Stitchman is a stitching on his own things, yeah. Mr. Stitchman is a stitching on his own stitchings, yeah. Mr. Stitchman, tell me what you stitching on? What you stitching on, Mr. Stitchman? Your own stitching. Ow! Yeah! Tell me!
This was the first thing that I designed and the first thing that I stitched and the first thing that I finished. Pretty good right out of the box, I think, considering it's a little rolled up there. Hang on. For a first attempt at calling myself a designer, I think that I still believe that this was a pretty good effort. I really like this. I like the way it looks. I like the way it turned out. I liked stitching it. I'm quite proud of it. Good job, Stitch Man. Still available in my shop. If you like it and want to stitch it yourself, put your loved one's name on a tombstone, hang it on your wall. Who wouldn't? Nothing says love like I'm going to love you forever, etched in stone while we lay 6 feet underground. That's love. After that, I did this one. This was my second attempt, which, sort of gave me a little bit of confidence that, like, maybe this is worth pursuing. This isn't perfect. There are things about this that even now I would do differently and change, but I'm not going to go back and redo and nitpick stuff. I like it. I like it. It turned out really good. It's good. It's good. I'm proud of this one too, and I'm glad that you all seem to like it because this one actually outsold the first one. And you could see the first one, like, you're all just being nice to me and you're being encouraging because that's what you do, which is very appreciated, by the way. But then when you get into, like, okay, now it's more than just the first thing, when the second thing outsells the first thing, that's very, very encouraging. And I thank you very much for that. And then, of course, you're probably sick of seeing and hearing about this. I am not sick of seeing and hearing about it, by the way. Yippee Ki Yay, motherfucker. Quote taken from the greatest Christmas movie of all time, Die Hard.
Do you really think you have a chance against us, Mr. Cowboy?
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
This one, speaking of one thing outselling the next thing, this one puts even the other two to shame. The amount of people that have purchased this from me and have stitched it and shown me pictures of it and seem to really like it. This is my number one. And that makes me, that tickles me. That tickles me to no end. that like, I got that deep into, designing, and I've done several things now. People are getting kind of burned out. They don't really care anymore or whatever. Like, that didn't seem to be the case because, like, once I got to this one, it outsold all of the rest of them, and I got more of a response to this one. And people send me pictures of it. They send me pictures of them stitching it. They send me pictures of how they're finishing it. I love it. I love all the things about it. I love all of your encouragement for it. It's kind of sad to, like, it's still flimsy. I haven't, like, fully finished it yet. I didn't just shove it in a drawer, though. This actually has been out places where you can see it hanging here and there or propped up here and there. So at least it's been part of my Christmas decorations. But, like, again, I'm going to do that. I'm going to get it ready for Christmas. And before you know it, it's December 20-something or whatever the hell it is right now. I don't even know. But anyway, love this. Love it. I should mention before I go to a little shameless self-promotion that I did somewhat of a companion piece to go along with this. Now, I know it's getting pretty late in the Christmas season and maybe people are just over it. Like, you missed the boat, Stitch Man. We'll have to wait till next year. Whatever, it's fine. It'll be there forever. But I did, because I got a bit of a response from this one. As much as people loved it and it's my number one seller and all that kind of stuff, I did get kind of a response from some people who like the general look and style of it, but don't necessarily think that motherfucker is a good Christmas decoration for them to have, at Christmas time when they have their family over or whatever. So I did this. Where am I going to put it? How about there? I did this. That just is just a family friendly Merry Christmas, kind of in the same ish kind of style as this. Not exactly the same, but like I called it a sibling to this. So somebody that for people that kind of like the kind of general look of this, but don't want motherfucker. They just want a simple Merry Christmas. I'm nothing if not accommodating. I got to give the people what they want. So that's available in my shop. All those other things are available in my shop. Jimmy Stewart is also, in case you didn't know, that's one of my own too, available in my shop. Everything is it's the season. It's the season of Christmas. You want to give me a Christmas present? Go buy my stuff. Oh man, how long have I been sitting here, man? My clock on my phone is running out. So like I feel like it's been 2 hours. I don't know how I'm going to trim this up and make it fit, but like, holy moly. Are we over it? Have we had enough Stitch Man for one day? All right. So thank you all again for 2 years of fantasticalness for welcoming me into this fantastic community with such a humongous response. Like, you really made me feel like I'm a part of everything. I spent my whole life thinking I'm alone on an island of stitching and thread all by myself. Turns out I'm not. Not only is there an island full of people, they are more than happy to welcome me onto the island with them, and I thank you for that. So this is probably going to be my last video before the end of the year, so I hope you all have a Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays or whatever. If you get some time off, if you just get to sleep and watch Die Hard. That's all you have to do. Just watch Die Hard. Merry Die Hard to all of you. Maybe next year I'll have more of a thing planned out for something. Maybe every other year I'll do something super, super big and extravagant for, my 3-year anniversary or whatever, because I didn't really do anything this year. But I think I'm going to end with the exact same thing I ended with last year. Maybe that'll just be an annual tradition, because it's the greatest thing ever. I have gone back to it throughout the year whenever I'm feeling a little bit down or blue or hard on myself. I have gone back to this at various times and rewatched it to make myself feel better. It's a video that Chris from Criss Cross Stitch made for me last Christmas. And it's just the greatest thing ever. Maybe that'll be my annual tradition for how I end these Christmas videos. So I know you're all missing Chris. I hope that he's back soon. And I know that you're all loving me, and you love when people talk about me, right? Everybody loves that. So here's a meshing of the two. We got your Chris, we got your Stitch Man, we got your Christmas video, the Christmas season, all the lovingness and all the, like, some of you probably remember this from last year. It never gets old. So Merry Christmas. I'll see you next year. Take it away, Chris.
It's time for Story Time with Chris, and tonight I have a very special story for you. I'm joined by my dear friend Sal, and this is one of his favorites, and I hope that you enjoy it as well. It's called "'Twas the Night Before Darcmas." 'Twas the night before Darcmas, and all through the house not a creature was stitching, not even his spouse. The floss drops were hung by his Q-snap with care, in hopes that the Stitch Man soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of Pokemons danced in their heads. And Melissa in her kerchief and Darce in his cap had just settled down for a long winter's nap, when out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, Darcy sprang from his bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window he flew like a jockey, or rather a goalie, because Canada and hockey. The snowfall had hardened and the drifts were quite rigid, for Canada's no joke and the winters are frigid, when what to his wondering eyes did appear but Criss Cross Stitch himself with a 6-pack of beer. I know I'm quite late, and you must all be sleeping, but this is craft beer, and it ain't good for keeping. More rapid than eagles, the stairs Darce descended. He threw open the door, and man, was he winded. Chris was dressed all in fur, from his head to his toe, and he said very quickly, "It's not real mink, just faux." "But how," Darcy said, "did you cross such a distance without plane, train, or car, without any assistance?" "It's magic," said Chris, "without reason or rhyme. But listen, dear Stitchman, for I don't have much time. A year you have given the world of your stitching. A year full of laughter, of jokes, and some bitching. It's needed right now, as the world is so bleak, and the joy that you bring brightens everyone's week. Your stitches are perfect, your projects are fine, and we even love it when you drink too much wine. But mostly we watch because you are so rad, like a brother we cherish, or might never have had. So drink up, my friend, and I want you to hear, we love you, old Stitchman. Yes, you are quite dear. A year now behind you, but more years to come, for your smile is much needed whene'er we are glum. I'll go, but remember all I have said. Drink just one beer, and then go back to bed. And with a grand wave and a bell's jolly ring, Criss Cross Stitch was gone in a flash and a ping. But Darce heard him exclaim, before he blinked out of sight, "Happy Darcemas to all, and to all a good night."